For many of us here in the Valley, as we say one last goodbye to NHP Trooper Micah May, who died in the line of duty last week.
Yeah, police officers around the Valley gathering for the funeral procession for Trooper May. We have team coverage this morning on everything you need to know. Fox's Faven K is out at Central Church, where a service is taking place later this morning. But let's send it over to Nkirika Azuka first at Palm Mortuary, where the procession is expected to start soon. Nkirika?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, that procession is set to start in about 30 minutes, and we're out here at Palm Mortuary. We're seeing law enforcement officers, we're seeing first responders, and to take him to escort him to his final resting place. Now, Trooper Micah May was just 46 years old, a 13-year veteran of the Nevada Highway Patrol. His obituary reads that he grew up in a small town in Massachusetts. His parents say he was a very shy child who loved the cold, he loved the snow, but he came here to sunny Las Vegas in 2008 to follow his dream of being a law enforcement officer. His colleagues say he was loyal and he was witty, he had a sarcastic humor, and he looked out for everyone, even making sure they stayed awake long enough during the graveyard shift to have their lunch. His former partner, Trooper Travis Smacka, says he's been to too many law enforcement funerals, but this is the first time it was someone he knew, someone whose house he was in, and he says it's very painful.
This community is behind us, and it means a lot to us. And when we have one of our officers get hurt in the line of duty, it's humbling, for lack of a better term, to see how this community comes behind us and supports us, and how they come through for the families.
Now, that procession will be starting around 9:30. His services at 11. We're going to take things over to Faven K, who's at Central Church, where that service will be happening. And Faven, what are we looking at there?
Yeah, and Nkirika, that service gets underway, like you mentioned, at 11 a.m., but we've been seeing local law enforcement officers and troopers, deputies from across the state already arriving to make sure that they're here and ready once that service begins. I'm standing here with a retired Alaska trooper, Michael Weary. Michael, I initially saw your uniform and asked you if you came out here all the way from Alaska, but you're retired, you now live in the Valley, but you said that you know all too well what the department is going through. You yourself have had to take part in 4 separate funerals and memorial services for troopers that have died in the line of duty.
Yes, I have, unfortunately. My heart goes out to the Trooper May's family and the Nevada Highway Patrol family and all local law enforcement. We're a small community, and I certainly understand where they're coming from. This is going to be a very, very hard and difficult day, but just knowing that this family is surrounding Trooper Micah May's family, just to let her know that we're here to support her in any way we can, not just in the state of Nevada and the Nevada Highway Patrol, but around the country. And we definitely appreciate his service to his country and to the state of Nevada.
And now, you know, you've dedicated your life to public service, to serving not just Alaska, but you served our country. You spent 20 years in the Air Force, then decided to be a trooper. So you know all too well what comes with the job, the sacrifice, the dangers. And so for many of us, we are heartbroken for Trooper May's family. But for those of you that dedicate your life to protecting us, it just hits a little different.
It does. When you know somebody personally, as I did with our troopers and everything else, it really hits home. And right now, it's kind of hitting home for me to remember. We had 2 troopers who were murdered in the line of duty just 7 years ago, and it's still fresh in my mind. There's not a day I don't go thinking about those troopers, and I know the Highway Patrol, they'll be thinking about their comrade every single day. They'll never leave them, and it's something that we never want to go through, but we understand the job. We understand when we walk out that door, there's a possibility we may not come back, but knowing that we're here to support everybody.
Well, we certainly thank you for your service, your selfless service, and thank you for being here today. I'm sure the May family is very appreciative of your support.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's definitely my honor and privilege to be here to represent them.
Yeah. And you know, Trooper Weary is just one of several that we've seen arriving here before that service begins at 11 a.m. They're also, you know, giving out these blue ribbons for everyone to wear that says "Pray for May." We were talking about this earlier, Trooper Weary. they're really going to need your prayers in the weeks to come. You know, right now the family's been supported by so many people. They've been on this emotional roller coaster. Many of them probably numb. They've had to plan and really digest that Micah May is no longer with them. But it's in, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, when the crowd is no longer gathered around them, that they'll still need that love and support.
Yeah, that's very true, Faven. And not only in the weeks to come, but in the years to come, when those kids have birthdays and they go through holidays without their dad, and his wife Joanna doesn't have him there to help. So thank you so much for bringing us the latest.